this, but oh well.
Oh, that's what fell.
I'm not at all looking forward to this.
Usually I say the calm before the storm as a joke, but this really is the calm before. Wow, my YouTube glitched out and had another chat in here. Okay. I've been waiting all week for tonight. Can't believe I already have to clarify. Oh my god. Also, thank you. Yeah, I'm waiting for an audience besides you to get here before I explain what we're doing. Just waiting for. Okay, I'm waiting for any other type of audience. Sorry if I seem kind of out of it. I'm just a little tired. Sorry if I sound too patient. I'm just wait. How's mom doing? She's asleep. Again, sorry if I. Yes. Again, sorry if I sound both. Sorry if I sound both too patient and out of it. I'm just waiting for any other potential audience members to join. Because, contrary to popular belief, I don't like to repeat myself. Tonight's the. I've been wait. I'm waiting to see if any other audience members, any of the other regulars join. Okay? Sorry if I sound too patient. I just don't think that fast. We don't count. I mean, different people count differently, so okay. Again, I was just waiting out just to see if anyone else would join, then we'll start. My patient, I can be impatient, but sometimes I like to wait. Hang on. Well, not really. You can do it in your head or count on your fingers. It's still the same calculation. You knew I was. I mean, honestly, I had a vague idea that you were coming. Okay, just waiting to see. Does Dean count? Well, what I just said a minute ago. Different people count in different ways. But yeah, now we have 3. Also known as you are not important as funny. He will not be He will not be Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic Wonder After Dark word slip. Classic word slip. Let me try that again. He will not start the show without gas, but he'll start without us. Fucking double stand. It's not double standards. It's just I can be impatient and I can be patient. Sometimes I'm impatient. Right now I'm feeling patient because sometimes people will join in the middle of a tangent. Anyway, we got like 2 other regulars, and how come you never wait for me? Okay, I'm having to do a lot of clarification tonight already, and I haven't even gotten to the main bit of clarification. I only count as half. Okay, I'll give you credit. That's funny. Now, please let me finish. Okay. Now, first bit of clarification, aiming this at you, Dean. It's not that let me finish. One person at a time, please. Not trying to sound rude, just one person at a time. I said I was talking to Dean first. Let me talk to him first. I mean, technically, there's 3. Yep, that's quote. Okay. Now, let me start with you, Dean. How come you never wait for me? Okay, thank you for asking. It's not that I don't. I would hate to sound rude. It's just typically you join a bit late. Plus, yeah. So yeah, you usually join late. Okay, now, start They Live already. Okay. Here's a bit of clarification. Boss man, let's get I'm getting going. Here's a bit of clarification. So, yeah. Well, there is no review yet. Let me explain. I'm reading. Let me explain. You know what happened? First off, don't be God damn. Okay, first off, I want you to all listen to me. Okay, I'm reading. Okay, for real, everyone, shut up. I'm just not fucking in the mood, or fucking not in the mood today. I'm sorry, Jesse, for being dark on you all fucking day. I accept your apology. Now, let me explain what went wrong. So, I looked up where to watch They Live. Let's look at the list, why don't we? YouTube from $3.99, Google Play $3.99, Apple TV $3.99, Fandango at Home, also known as Vudu, $3.99. Prime Video, $3.99. Cheap, yes, I know it's cheap, but nowhere that I currently have. And yes, I do have Prime Video, but I'm not paying the price of a Prime Video subscription on top of the price of a rental. At that point, if I'm paying for Prime Video, just give me the movie. So there's point A. I just simply didn't feel like paying that for a digital rental. Okay? Number two. Okay, well, I am a bibla, but wait, is this going to end with no they? Please let me finish. Anyway, the other thing, and I want you to damn understand, also library. Okay, thank you for clarifying. That was just a big word. Sylv/mouse/whatever is giving you the short version. I can supply you with all you need. I'll consider it, but I will not guarantee. Let me finish. The other thing that I would like to clarify, I never, ever, 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 ever said that They Live was on April 10th. Did I say that? No, I didn't. I never said that I was reviewing They Live today. I just said that I would get to it at some point. Don't gaslight me. What a bait and switch. It's not a bait and switch because you set me up for something I didn't promise. Yeah, in fact, I never said a specific date. Never did I say a date. I just said that I would get to it, and thank you for the suggestion. I never said April 10th. God, I'm starting to hate this show so much. Anyway, because I couldn't get the movie in time, and because you seem to be gaslighting me into thinking I said shit that I never did, Wonder After Dark has been on the air for about 280 episodes, roughly. Oh yeah, welcome to Wonder After Dark, a piece of shit. Anyway, Wonder After Dark has been on the air for roughly 280 episodes. Also, I should go ahead before we start. This is going to be a shorter episode. Anyway, Wonder After Dark has been on the air for roughly 280 episodes. I corrected myself. Now, in that 280, exactly, some of us can barely afford. Anyway, in that 280, we've discussed and reviewed and talked about a lot of things. And you decide to cut it short. I'm not Anyway. What if... I don't know. Anyway. But in that amount of time, we have reviewed and discussed a lot of different things. A lot. Some of them, I think, have been pretty good. Some not so much. I feel you were just avoiding. I'm not avoiding it. I'm not avoiding it at all. It's just one, I did not have $3.99 to rent a digital movie. That might not sound like a lot, but I don't have that. Number two, I never gave a definitive date for the review. I just said I would get to it sometime. Never, ever, ever did I say April 10th. Yes, piracy is a... crowdfunding is... I never said crowdfunding. Borrow with it. Okay! I might yeet because I'm just not in the mood. Okay, anyway. But yeah, never. Lots of options. Okay. Anyway. But I'm not avoiding it. I'm not fucking avoiding it. I just said... Oh yeah, crowdfunding $3.99. The most pointless idea... Anyway. But yeah, Wonder After Dark has been on the air for 280 episodes, roughly speaking. In that amount of time, we've discussed a lot of different things. Now, some of the topics I actually really like. So you watched Breakfast Club. Oh my god. some of the topics I've really enjoyed, while others, not so much. Right now, I want to discuss just a few topics that I would remake, redo, or revisit if given the opportunity. If given the opportunity. In no real particular order, by the way. Here's a good idea, remake all of them. Yeah. Okay, let's just be silent and get... Thank you! And start anew. Yeah, anyway. But what I was trying to say, but... Anyway. Okay, but we're going to go over just a few topics that I would remake or revisit or redo, whichever word fits, given the opportunity, in no real particular order. Starting with pretty much all of Season 1 of Wonder After Dark. For a bit of context, now I, being a porn artist, have to brainstorm ideas. I'm going to yeet. I don't blame you. Anyway, this is probably going to be a shorter episode anyway, so may God have mercy on your soul. I hope I'm dead by the time I finish. Anyway, good night. Anyway, have a day, I guess. Anyway, back to the shit. Yeah. Pretty much most of Season 1. For context, Season 1 of this show, Wonder After Dark, began around... Porn isn't approved. No, it's not. Let me finish. Anyway, Season 1 premiered around July 2024 was when this show started. Now, the reason why I would say that I would redo Season 1 of this show, if I could, granted it's not possible, but if I could, it was just kind of unorganized. Like, you can tell I wasn't quite in it at the time. In it to win it, I guess you could say. And a lot of the topics kind of suffered from a problem. The problem is runtime. Now, the runtime never really changed. In fact, if anything, I'd call the runtime shorter than what it is now. Most of the early episodes of this show, of Wonder After Dark, were about roughly 60 minutes, sometimes less than that. I think one of them was just 45. Don't quote me on that, even though I'm the host. Anyway. Great season this year. I love the chat interactivity. Thank you. Anyway. But, yeah. Food yummy. Anyway, but, yes. But basically, filler, runtime. A lot of the topics, and this was a big problem I've noticed, looking back at those early episodes I did, was most of the time... What did you eat for dinner, buddy? I ate pizza. Now, let me finish. Honestly, for real, had a blast these last few streams. Thank you. Anyway. I'm trying to interact, but I'm also trying to get through the topic. Anyway. Multitasking. It's not easy. Anyway, but... And I'm just kind of tired right now. But anyway. But, what I was... Was it Domino's? No, just generic brand, everyday, generic pizza. Anyway, you could ignore the chat, so as long as you are in, like, speech mode, just, okay. Anyway, but what I was saying. Thank you for, yeah. But what I was saying, but... Anyway, but most of the topics during Season 1 of Wonder After Dark kind of just felt like filler. Or maybe not the topics, but rather how I went about them. Because, okay, let me describe the problem that I'm trying to convey, because that might work better. You see, the episodes, as I said, were about an hour exact to an hour and 15 minutes for those early eps. Anyway, the problem was sometimes, a lot of times actually, I would end up, finishing the topic like overall, I give it a, and then I look at the clock up there and I realize, oh shit, I still have half an episode to go. So I would kind of just meander around aimlessly. Sometimes I wouldn't even have like a secondary topic on hand in case the first one was too short. Sometimes I would just meander into thin air. There were quite a few instances where I would just kind of like stare off into space, metaphorically speaking, and then just kind of awkwardly end the show. And I mean, on the one hand, it's kind of relaxing, but on the other hand, it was kind of a problem early on. All right, what does this say? All right, hang on. It's good you stop and chat and shit, but don't let our madness drive you mad. We're all just okay. That you look like baby Jesus is a bonus. Second half can be interactive with the audience. Okay. Funny you mentioned that. Excuse me. Funny you mentioned that. I think it would be cool if you had a special guest on everyone. Okay, I'm going to address Dean first, then you. Okay, Dean first. I have had that happen on quite a few episodes, but it wasn't really a permanent fixture. And then after a while, it kind of just went away. Like, no reason in particular. It just kind of went away because, contrary to popular belief, the people on this show are human beings. And as a result, they can leave whenever they want. And because, they would leave whenever they want, these segments were not really a regular occurrence. Sometimes they would happen, sometimes they wouldn't. Eventually, they just kind of got phased out with some rare occasions. Anyway, now addressing you, Lil Bill, I think it would be cool if you had a special guest on every once in a while. Okay, now I'm going to say this politely, but I'm also going to be obvious. Why do you always skip over? It's not on purpose. Now let me see what you still do that, buddy. Yeah, I know. Sorry I didn't see that. I just didn't see it, plain and simple. That happens a lot. Anyway, what I was trying to say. Okay, but special guest. I would do that, but it's important that I provide this a bit of... I just said there was nothing rude there. I just... No, it's not relegated. Sometimes that happens. I just miss a message and I have to go back and read it. It's not anything personal at all, nothing negative, unless I'm in a bad mood, of course. It's just sometimes I miss messages. It's not on purpose. Don't accuse me. Anyway, but what I was saying. But back to you, Lil Bill. But I have had that happen. Or not, I'm tired. I need to go to bed soon. Let me try that again. I've considered, I like this calmer, softer. Yeah, I wish. Domino's doesn't deliver to Argentina. Anyway, but what I was trying to say. Okay, but regarding what you said, it would be nice to have a special guest. Let me provide this little bit of context. I do not live near any of the people that I know, and I don't know anybody close, so that kind of deflates that. And we have had a few instances of call-ins, but it doesn't really work because the audio is that a mouse humping Scooby-Doo. No. Have mom. No, it's never happening. She doesn't know this show. She wouldn't like the show. End of story. Anyway. End of story. Anyway, but no, not a mouse, not Scooby-Doo. Let me finish. Anyway, but I've thought about it, but it's never going to happen. Talking about special guests. I would love for it, but it's just not feasible. It's just not feasible to have any special guests on the show. Sorry to disappoint, but I have considered it. Anyway. But what I was saying, are there any specific topics that I would redo, remake, or revisit? There are a few. In fact, there are quite a few. None that I will even hope. Just so you know, because you just said that, just so you know, I never promised guest stars. I'm just clarifying because of what you just said. I never promised. I'm just saying I've considered, but I've never promised. Do not misconstrue what I say. With that being spoken, anyway, but what I was saying. But are there any specific topics you skipped over? I did not skip it over. I just said I don't have $3.99 first off, and I never ever promised that it was on April 10th. I never skipped it over. I never gave a date. I just don't have the money to rent it. Stop gaslighting. Anyway, but let's not get snappy tonight. Let's remain calm. Anyway, are there any specific topics that I would redo or revisit if given the opportunity? Okay, I can name a few. Obviously, there's way too many, but again, there's a few that I would. Also, yeah, I see what you said there. Anyway, I'm just trying to get through the topic, so that's why I'm kind of like, and I'm kind of sleepy. Not really, I'm not usually sleepy at this hour, but right now I kind of am. So that's why I'm kind of like at minimal performance. That, and I've been thinking, I've been brainstorming. Anyway, also see, even Dean can, yes, I know he can tell me anyway, but Jesus Christ. Anyway, but what tuckered you out? So nothing. I'm just sleepy. Plain and simple. I'm just sleepy. There's, contrary to popular belief, there is no deeper reason for everything. Some things are just purely random. Sleepiness can oftentimes be one of them. Anyway, are there any specific topics that I would redo, remake, or revisit if given the opportunity? Well, I'm trying to think at the moment. Oh, I know one that I would remake or revisit. And it's right here over my shoulder. So, on October 10th of 2024, I, sort of, covered the early part of the Thomas the Tank Engine franchise to commemorate the anniversary of the franchise, or the TV show, rather. The anniversary of the TV show. But that episode wasn't really all that great because it kind of shared an episode with like a few other topics. Plus, I kind of went back and forth. Like, sometimes that happens. My brain just like goes all over the place. So the Fat Controller was my favorite. Same. Anyway, he's a funny one. He looked like a bowling ball with a head. Yeah, Anyway, where I was going with this. But I've considered revisiting Thomas, and I think I know how, because there's just so much history to cover that I cannot fit it all into a single show. I've thought about doing like a big, retrospective mini-series going all the way from the original books to now. But that's going to require a lot of planning. And again, will I ever get to it? I don't know. But do I think it'd be a better way to go about Thomas and Friends or Thomas the Tank Engine than just cramming it all into one show? Absolutely. So there's a topic that I probably, maybe, will remake or revisit in the future. Again, when, I don't know. Oh my god, I have a great idea. I guess I'll go ahead and say, if it's pornographic, the answer is no. You should stream yourself playing Bible games. If you mean the Bible game that was released on the Xbox, wait and see. That's all I can say to that one. Just wait and see. Okay, that's all I can say to that. Let's not get too distracted, but thank you for that. Okay. Anyway. Okay, never mind. I was thinking of something else. Similar, but something else. There's a game called The Bible Game, which came out on the Xbox, which is just like a mediocre, like, essentially Mario Party clone. Or you could go down the rabbit hole and buy the whole King James Bible. I can't guarantee that I'll ever do that, but wait and see. Hole, it's 12:30 here, yeah. Rename the channel Baby Jesus After Dark, yeah. Anyway, what I was gonna say. What I was going to say. Hail Jesus, yeah. Anyway, what I was gonna say. Any other topics that I would remake, redo, or revisit? Off the top of my head, there is one. That being the 2003 Clone Wars miniseries. You see, that episode of Wonder After Dark didn't really turn out great because it came on a night where I wasn't sure what to talk about, and one of our regular viewers suggested, basically at the last minute, do Clone Wars 2003. But first off, I had been out all day that day, and second off, he said it like within the hour before air, so 5% of it was actually about the show because I didn't have time to watch it. And the remaining, like, 90% was anything else. So, yeah, I think was it the gardener? No, end of story. Anyway. But, never, end of story. Anyway. Never was it him, end of story. Anyway, but, yeah, I think I'll revisit Clone Wars 2003. Not to be confused with Clone Wars 2008. But then again, I'm trying to lay off the Star Wars content because I kind of burned myself out last year talking about Star Wars. Just so you know. So I got a little itchy there. Anyway. But yeah, there's a topic I'll probably remake. Does Mom know about? I already answered that question previously. The answer is no. End of story. Sorry if I say end of story a lot. I'm just trying to stay on topic. I'm glad to interact, but I'm trying to stay on topic. Anyway. What I was saying. Okay. Sounds like it. You might think it's some, like, vendetta. Oh. Do you ever get mad when... Not... Honestly, no, because, like, bless her heart, she doesn't know. Anyway, but... What I was saying, but... Before you ask, Dean, I did read what you just said. I just didn't read it out loud. I was reading it, like, to myself. Anyway. But honestly, no, because, like, one, bless her heart, she doesn't really know, and number two, I feel like she already kind of suspects that I'm the fruity one anyway, so, yeah. Back to the show. Are there any other topics that I would remake, redo, or revisit? Again, going back to stop lying to... I'm not lying. I just simply haven't said anything. I'm not lying. Alright, hang on. Gotta ask gender stuff. You prefer me to call you she, her, and do that? Because, I see. Yeah, I know. It's a little complicated. But you can, I don't necessarily mind one or the other. Even though she, her is what I prefer, I don't really mind. Like, whether it's accidental or intentional. Just as long as you're not saying, like, haha, like, or you're being phobic, just as long as you're not doing any of that. I know, complicated, don't worry. Okay. But anyway, going back to season 1, really, I would also remake any of the topic. That's fair, yeah. Really, I would also remake any of the topics where I ain't purposefully being a dick about it. I ain't have a problem. Thank you. I wasn't saying you were, just to clarify. I was just saying, like, people in general, not you in particular. Just, people in general. Nothing wrong with tucking, so as long as you ain't forcing people to... No comment, that speaks for itself. You're not wrong, but no comment. Oh, I know, don't worry, people can be asked. Okay. Anyway, back on track. But are you talking about me? No, I'm not. I'm just talking people in general. No people in particular. No one in particular, just in general. Just in general. Anyway, but any other topics that I would, remake, redo, or revisit? Well, okay. Really, I said earlier that I would remake season 1 if given the opportunity because, it's actually not my favorite. I mean, granted, we're only on season 2, and at that, we're still in the early part of the year, but really, the other part of season 1 that I would actually, not even remake, just the one part of season 1 that I would change if I could is all the topics that I've done where I wasn't feeling it. Alright, let me read what you say here. In general, people... Alright, hang on. In general, people don't typically understand except for the bullshit narrative pushed by the media. The truth being, it's much more a rare moment in a long time where the audience is actually making a bit of sense. Sorry, I'm just researching something right now. Anyway, all hail my smartiness, yep. Alright, hang on. Dude, I got mod after being in stream for 10 minutes. I speak nothing but... Yeah. Anyway. Okay, but what I was trying to say before I forget. Really, if I could change something about season 1 of Wonder After Dark, I think it would simply be all the topics that I've done when I wasn't quite feeling it. Let me explain. You see, I started this show when I was kind of in a bit of a rough patch, mentally speaking. Now, to respect a certain person I know's wishes, I cannot say what it was about, but it was pretty bad. Let's just say that, and let's just roll with that. That's all you get to know. I'm not gatekeeping, I'm just respecting their wishes. Anyway, but I wasn't feeling too... How bad? Really bad, that's all you get to know. Anyway, Dumpty didn't want to get Humpty. Aren't you still in that state of mind? Let me finish. I'll explain in a moment. That's what explanation is for, and exposition. Anyway, but I started this show when I was like really feel like I'm talking like I was 2 clicks away from meeting Jesus bad. Anyway, but I started the show as kind of an experiment. Like I didn't think it would last. Okay, I didn't think. Haha, that's funny. Anyway, sorry, I'm just trying to get on with my explanation. But I didn't, truth be told, I didn't think the experiment would last because given the friend, I mean, crack on, man. Well, sorry, I was just in the middle of a serious tangent, but okay. You know why it's called a state of mind? Because you can move states. Yes. Anyway, but, excuse me. But I started it as kind of an experiment. And truth be told, I didn't. Crack on means continue. Ah, I've never heard the term, Scottish term. Okay. I've never heard that term, so. Okay. Anyway, again, I didn't read it out loud. I was reading that to myself. Anyway, but what I was saying. But anyway, but I didn't think Wonder After Dark would last because the 2 friends who I started it with weren't so sure about it at first. Remember not to go in a straight line. Funny. Anyway, but they weren't so sure about the program at first. They found it fun for the first few episodes they were on, but they weren't so sure at first. But I kept doing it for their amusement, because they did enjoy it. But honestly, in my head, I thought it would only last, like, maybe 10, 20 episodes, if that. And then it would just, like, quietly, I go in a byline. Welcome back! Anyway, but, then, as the show kept, I guess, evolving, I kept doing more topics. Now, a lot of topics I did. Remember, I wasn't feeling so hot when I started Wonder After Dark. A lot of topics I did. Yes, my name is Sylv. Anyway, a lot of topics that I did were kind of done when I was in a shit mood, so a lot of the episodes that I did had this kind of uncomfortable energy to them. I don't mean like I'm bitching energy, just like uncomfortable. Like it felt like I was going to snap at any moment. So if I could change one thing, not necessarily redo, correction, a lot of recent episodes. Okay, well, you're not wrong, but I was talking about season 1 of Wonder After Dark. But you're not wrong. The recent episodes have had that kind of come back. Anyway, but yeah. But if I could change one thing about season 1, I probably would have taken a night off during those instances. Probably should have, but I didn't want to disappoint my friends, is what I'm saying. Because they really like the show, so the show must go on, even if I'm not feeling so hot. You might call that unhealthy, or you might call it wholesome. Depends on how you see it. I see it as both. If not, the group chat got like, we haven't done anything. I don't even know anymore. Wholesomely unhealthy. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yes, okay. Okay, now this is one that I definitely would, and definitely wholesomely racist, yeah. Now this is another one that, fuck your homies for not realizing you needed it. Okay. Slight correction, Dean. It's not that they did not realize. That was not the case at all. Rather, they did know. They absolutely knew. It's just the show was the only thing we really had. Yeah. Wholesomely peaceful racist group. Anyway. But yes. Yes. Alright. Anyway. Okay, but a specific topic. I love you guys. Okay, Dean, that's actually very sweet. That's very sweet. Anyway. Can I be racist? No, I'm gonna say... Sorry, I thought we were being wholesome. No, it's okay. Anyway, back on topic, though. Okay. Now, one specific topic... Can I be homophobic? No! Anyway, one specific topic... Can I be transphobic? No. Can I have something to eat? No. Can I have something to eat? No. Can't you say anything else but no? Try asking again. Can I have something to eat? No. Can I be bedbugs phobic? Can I be homophobic phobic? Wii sportsophobic. Okay. Ah! Anyway. Okay, but, scream it out, man. Nah, actually, I don't want to because everybody's asleep right now, and you'll feel better, I swear. You actually seem like the most normal one on the show. Greg! Anyway, but... Sorry, I see Greg, I have to. I feel like I'm going to be at my funeral, dead, decomposing. Someone's going to say Greg, and it's just going to come out my corpse. Anyway. I'm forgetting a lot. One specific topic that I really... Greg. Anyway. Okay, that's the last time I'm doing it tonight. Alright. One specific topic that I do want to revisit, because the first one... Okay, well, I should probably say... Chicken Jockey... Okay, well, I should say... It went well, but it went a little too well. Grindhouse. Now, for those who don't know what Grindhouse is, that was an experimental double feature film that was half and half done by Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. If you don't know it, you can research it. Anyway, I did cover Grindhouse last Halloween, but nobody showed up, so I was kind of just yapping about the history and kind of my thoughts on the film into a camera. And even then, most of that episode was not a review, and more so the history. So, yeah, I think that one could do for a redo. From Dusk Till Dawn 2 and 3 revisit. No, says the magic conch shell. But yeah, there's a topic that I've been meaning to revisit, redo, and remake. Just because the first episode was basically less of a... We never technically reviewed 2 and... Okay, well, I did just have to think about that, and yeah, actually, you're not wrong. I mean, we did kind of briefly discuss them, but we never... Like, the only takeaway I had about them was just the word mid. So, there's that. Okay. I actually liked 3. I mean, okay, you just said that. Okay, 3, From Dusk Till Dawn 3 is not bad. I mean, it's not, it's still From Dusk Till Dawn 3. But if I have to pick between 2 and 3, I'm going to pick 3 just because it's at least a little interesting. And it at least tries something different. You know, the Western setting. From Dusk Till Dawn 2... just feels like a less good version of the first movie. That's basically... I will say, though, the one thing about From Dusk Till Dawn 3 that I don't like, the ending. I mean, the ending's not bad, but remember that it's the first one in chronological order. If you're watching them in the order they take place... When you have the pull-out reveal of the temple in the third movie, in the past, and then you have it again in the first movie, it kind of ruins the reveal in the first movie. Like, if you're watching them in chronological timeline order, the reveal is kind of ruined. Because then you already know. So basically, if you're going to watch the From Dusk Till Dawn movies, watch them in Star Wars order. 3 is ties with the first film by being a prequel, and Ambrose Bierce was a real historical figure who disappeared in... Yeah, I do know it's a prequel, but I'm saying if you watch it as a prequel, meaning you watch it first, then the reveal of the temple at the end kind of takes away from the same reveal in the first movie. And then the post-credits scene shows he's alive in the present day, or modern day as a vampire, yeah. Which is so Robert Rodriguez. Anyway, but back on topic. Okay, if you wanted to hear a Sour Patch Kid. Anyway, but oh my god. Ambrose Bierce to this day is one of the most unsolved disappearances. And honestly, can we keep it that way? Because I think it's cool that we don't know. Also, I like vampires. Okay, there's some Dean lore. But can we keep it that way? Because I think the fact we don't know is cooler. Buried in the Woods. I don't know if that's a film title or if you're confessing to something. Anyway, but like he was a writer responsible for the Devil's Diction. Yeah. Okay, anyway, but back on topic. But what's another topic that confession I'm making into okay, cool. Anyway, what's another topic that I would what's another topic that I would remake, redo, or revisit? I'm making a movie about your life. I can't tell if you're saying that to play off of what Dean said as a joke or if you're being truthful. Okay, yep, that was a joke. Okay, yep. Although you picked the wrong crowd of people to make that joke too. Anyway, but yes. What else? Yeah. Okay, but what's another topic that yeah. That was a funny joke, though, I will admit. Anyway. Okay, but I'm trying hard to contain it. Thank you. Anyway, but what's okay, but what iCarly redo could work because iCarly, yeah. I covered iCarly. If I'm not mistaken, that was I think it was episode I think that was episode 150. Yeah, it was okay, that's what I thought. 150. Yeah. Nobody else showed up to that one. Just you, but you showed up late and I didn't feel like starting over, so yeah, that's one that I think I might revisit in the future. And there are still quite a few other shows in the Dan Schneider rabbit hole. So, yeah. I guess I could use that to lead into Victorious and then use that to lead into Sam and Cat. So, yeah. You should do a short on how you take care of that fantastic lock of Jesus Fuzz. Sorry, I just love the phrase Jesus Fuzz. Also, Victorious, no one watched that. Victorious sucked. Okay, I mean, I respect your opinion. Truth be told, I did not watch Victorious when it was new. But I will say, though, a lot of people found and still find Victorious nostalgic. Plus, Victorious is kind of half of Sam and Cat, so I feel like even if we skip over it and just go to Sam and Cat, we'll still need to briefly touch Victorious. Even if we just say, like, it's a spin-off of, context is key. So, yeah. That fucking... Well, I can't argue there. Really, not just Cat Valentine, the character, but Ariana Grande has just the fucking worst voice. In fact, you know what? I have a friend... No. I'm not changing the subject. I have a friend who is a fan of the movie Wicked, which is that Wizard of Oz movie that came out recently. Now, Wicked is the movie starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. That movie. Yeah. Wicked. You know that movie. Anyway, why I bring that up. No disrespect to the friend I know who likes that movie. no disrespect to anybody who likes Ariana or Cynthia Erivo, but they could not have picked two less pretty people to do that movie. I mean, first off, Ariana Grande's not pretty in the sense that, well, one, she's just not pretty. Number two, she just has a terrible voice. Cynthia Erivo is not pretty in the sense that with that green face paint, she looks fine, but when you strip the face paint away, girl, what is with you? Like, you look like a space alien. In fact, you somehow look more like an alien naturally than you do with the paint. Like, how did that work? Ariana's voice, I have no problem with. It's her voice is... Okay, also, Dean, her voice is annoying, full stop. Most TV actresses have this nasally bitch voice, and it does my cunt in. That is bio-worthy. Okay, I'm not... Okay, actually, let me get the top part so there's at least the context. Okay. Okay. I stand by my statement. I wasn't disagreeing. I just thought that was funny. Okay, but anyway, for real, I hate cat. Okay, I guess if you want my personal opinion. Okay, sorry. I guess if you want my personal opinion, I don't really like Ariana Grande's voice, period. I think her voice as Kat is a lot worse of the two, but I don't like either. I just don't... She's just annoying. I mean, I guess she's talented, but she's still annoying. Yeah, that's fair, yeah. Same thing with a lot of people, but let's not talk girl pop sensations. Kill me, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think. I'm about... Now, Wonder Feet review. No! Can I have something to eat? No. Can I see pics of your feet? No. Can't you say anything else but no? Try sucking someone else off. Can I see pictures of your feet? No. Sorry, the magic conch shell bit is just the funniest to do. Nerd chick from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, her voice wasn't as annoying. I've never seen Buffy. And I'm going to move on. Anyway, but... Yeah. What are some other topics? Okay, actually, I've said topics that I would remake, redo, or revisit if I had the chance. But what about topics that I would have either swapped out or swapped around? Meaning either done in place of or switch the order of. Okay, in terms of order... I said earlier that I burnt myself out talking about Star Wars. Okay, it's not that I wouldn't have reviewed Star Wars ever, but I would have spaced them apart more. Can Season 2 be called The Arrival of Dean? Unfortunately, no, because you might notice there's... I like Star Wars, we should do some... Oh, fuck. Anyway, I'm going to finish myself because I already dug my own grave, but... Anyway, oh, sorry about that. Time for the funny image. Hang on. Funny image time. Funny image, funny image, funny image, funny image. Cockatoo Pepsi, yes. Pepsi 2. Anyway, there's the funny. It's a cock drinking Pepsi. Yep. I wish it was a cock drinking Coke, because then it'd be a cocky cult. Okay, now what you just said. Sorry, I missed it. All right. Star Wars redo, but spaced apart this time. We need to redo the series in chronological order. Yeah. Okay, but what I was saying originally. Anyway, how I did Star Wars was I did it in release order, and I did it in batches. So I did the original trilogy back to back, 4, 5, 6, one after the other, not in the same night, but night 1, night 2, night 3, skip. Then the next week I did the prequel trilogy back to back, 1, 2, 3, 3 different nights, night 1, night 2, night 3, skip. Now the one that really did me in was the Disney era, because we didn't just do the sequel trilogy, we did all of them. So I did Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo, Okay, I did Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo, Rise of Skywalker. Pretty much, that was 5 movies back to back. Granted, Rise of Skywalker came a couple of days overdue because of a power outage, but that was 5 movies back to back in the same franchise. Yeah, that took a lot out of me. By the end, I was just fucking done. Okay, now what you saying here, Dean? We do a movie night every Saturday in my server. Says 5 like it's a big number. Let's do the 9. Oh, fuck. Fuck no. No, 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 no. Can we do all 9 Star Wars at once? No. Can we do all 9 Star Wars at once? No. Can't you say anything else but no? Try asking again. Can I have something to eat? No. But in all seriousness, I was burnt out. I'm not doing all of them. Also, I did miss that. I need to go. No worries. See you maybe next time. I don't know. Have a day. Good night. Bye. Yep, you about made me say the N-word. Granted, I'm guilty, but bye. Well, anyway, but yeah. Adieu. Adios. Whatever. Just, yeah. Alright, anyway, but, alright, I think I'm about done, both with the topic and for tonight, just because I'm kind of running out of it. And let me check my battery life up here. Okay, I got a little bit remaining, but I can't go on for too much longer. My battery life actually gets drained pretty fast doing this show, believe it or not. So, cast leaves and the show ends. It's not quite over yet. It's not quite over. This is just simply one of those topics that's not 90 minutes long. Okay? Anyway. Okay. I think I got about like 2 more left in me. Oh. It can be as long as you want. I'm not trying to argue, but actually, no, it cannot. Let me explain. My setup is very rudimentary. It's basically the show is held together by an iPad and a Dream. Now, the way my room is set up, I can't feasibly put a charger right here. Not without some dark magic trickery that just isn't possible. Second of all, I don't live alone. I can't just go to bed. Do you have an extension cord? No, I do not. Now, please let me finish. Second of all, I don't live Okay, anyway. Just the phrase crowdsource some black... phrase crowdsource some black magic. Okay, anyway, number 2, contrary to popular belief, I do not live alone, and contrary to popular belief as well, oh, I understand the not living in sorry. I understand the not living alone and the time stuff. I get it, man, but we'll get you. Anyway. Okay. Well, I'm still going to finish what I was saying. This is the main reason why the show cannot last as long as you would want. First off, it's actually 2 reasons. First off, I want you all to please remember I'm only human. Okay? While, yeah, I am a night owl, I will admit, I'm only human. I cannot stay up literally all night, especially right here. That's just not realistic. That would actually hurt me. And I don't mean hurt my legs, I mean hurt my mental health and my physical health. So that's just not healthy for me to do an all-nighter show. Second reason, I should probably also add I live with my parents still. So naturally they would tell me to go to bed at some point. So there's reason number 2 why an all-nighter show will never happen. Don't ask, it's never coming, plain and simple, end of story. And if you think that what I just said promised it, or was some reverse psychology bullshit, no it isn't. End of story. Sorry if I seem a little defensive about that. I've just had way too many instances lately of people thinking I promised something when I never gave a definitive date, just a hypothetical, it'll come eventually. Okay, but I got 2 more left in me and then I'm done for tonight. So, alright, what's another topic that I would remake, redo, or revisit? Okay, I'm done, but anyway. What's another topic that I would remake, redo, or revisit if given the opportunity? Well, I think another one that I would, in all honesty, trying to think off the top of my head, it's kind of the difficult thing about having 280 episodes of this show. Yeah. Oh. Okay, a topic that I would remake if I had the opportunity, and if given... Okay, yeah, not the one that I was gonna say, but yeah, that's a good one. That one, I don't know when I'll get to it. Remember, The Office has like 9 seasons, but eventually. Remember, I'm only human. I'm not just some machine that can spit shit out at Mach 1,000,000. The US one or the good one. I am not even going to address that. Anyway. Anyway, but... I mean, everyone's... Okay, I can tell what you're thinking, Dean. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you're not a huge fan of The Office UK, I respect your opinion. Like, if you think it's bad, as long as you don't hate people that like the American show, I see no problem with your opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Just as long as you're not acting like your opinion is the only objectively correct one. When that happens, that's when I take a problem with it. Okay, but back on top. But yeah, there's one. Not the one I was going to say, but there's one. When have I ever used my objective opinion again? You never have. Again, I was just saying in general. Not you at all, just in general, people who have. Sorry if my wording was maybe a little off. Alright, that would have made more sense to watch the UK show. I'm the voice of reason in this disjoint. Honestly, I didn't believe it at first, but you honestly are. Let me turn the air conditioning on because it's kind of hot in this room. The UK show is freaking hilarious, but the US one is actually pretty good. Okay, well, glad to know that you don't totally hate it. Okay, glad to know. Glad to know. Alright, but we'll talk about that another time. Alright, last one. Another topic that I would revisit, or actually, not revisit. Another topic that I would remake if given the opportunity, and this is the last one I'm going to say tonight, is anyway. Alright. But the last topic that I'm going to say for tonight that I would remake if I could, and probably will at some point, Disney Infinity. I covered Disney Leprechaun and no. I said I'm never anyway. Now, Disney Infinity. I covered Disney Infinity previously. For those who don't know, Disney Infinity was a Toys to Life video game, much like Skylanders or Lego Dimensions, which was developed by Avalanche Software and published by Disney Interactive Studios. Anyway, I did cover Disney Infinity, and I planned to do a demonstration, because it being a Toys to Life game. When I covered Lego Dimensions, I demonstrated how the game worked. Disney Infinity, I was unable to, because while I do have the base and some of the figures, I don't actually currently have access to my copy of the game. It's in a sea of boxes that is just impossible to traverse. And it's not really known, like, which box it's in. It's all packed up. But rest assured, when I dig out my Wii and copy of the piracy box, literally Disney Infinity is available on Steam right now as we speak. I don't need to pirate it. I'm not against piracy, but Disney Infinity, if I can't find my Wii, Disney Infinity is literally available on Steam right now. I don't need to pirate it. And it usually goes on sale. I'd pirate it just because it's... Okay, well... I guess your philosophy there is fair. Even though I'd say Infinity came out before Disney went totally stupid. For context, Disney Infinity had a run of 2 years, 2013, 14, 15. Literally, I haven't pirated a game since the 2010s, but Disney can... Okay. I guess if you... Okay. But yeah, those are just a few topics that I... Okay, knew. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, those are just a few topics that I would remake, redo, or revisit if given the opportunity. Now, I got about 3 to 5 more minutes left in me. So I guess I'll acknowledge what you... Oh. I guess I'll, read what you just said here. Okay, Disney can suck a dick. Okay, new Disney. Although I did hear Walt was a fan of a particular German that we don't talk about. Yeah. Okay, I'll acknowledge the... Excuse me. I will acknowledge the first thing that you interact with the... That's what I'm doing right now. I will acknowledge the first thing that you said. You know what? 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes to interact. Anyway, I know 5 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but you can get a lot done in 5 minutes. Now, anyway, I'm going to acknowledge the first thing you said. New Disney. I guess if you want my stance on Disney, I don't want to support Disney. But it's kind of hard for a few different reasons. Okay? First reason why it's a little hard is because they just simply own a lot. You know, in recent years, Disney has become very acquisition heavy and very purchase heavy. They've purchased a lot of companies and a lot of brands over the last decade. So it's kind of becoming a little hard to keep track of what's what. Even I'm starting to lose track. And I do know what they do and don't own. I can tell you that for a fact. Anyway. But yeah. But, what I was saying. But I don't want to support Disney. But here's my thing. I don't think that it's... Okay. I'm trying not to... Okay. I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't want it to come off the wrong way. I don't want you to think I'm like a Disney... Yes, I'm a Disney fan, but don't think that I'm like a Disney corporate supporter. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, but I know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure out the words. Okay. Unpaid sub... Okay. I guess I was asking for that. Okay. Here's what I'm trying to say. I don't support a lot of what the, like... Just fucking with you. Yeah, I know. Alright. I don't support a lot of what the Disney corporate higher-ups think nowadays. But I don't like to pin the blame on Disney VFX artists or Disney actors or even Disney writers. Because they're just paid by their bosses to do the annoying stuff. You know, you shouldn't be getting mad at, like, the girl, I don't know her name, but the girl who's playing Lilo in the Lilo and Stitch remake, you shouldn't be getting mad at her. You shouldn't be getting mad at the people who wrote that remake, because they're just getting paid by their higher-ups to do what we don't like. They're just here to do a job. And even if it's not the best job... Dude, that's the one movie I'm looking... Sorry. Okay, well, truth be told, I don't think the Lilo and Stitch remake's that bad. I know I just made it sound that way, but I don't think it looks that bad. On the grand scale of Disney remakes. I'm actually hyped for it. Okay, good to know. Yeah. And now, the other remakes lately, those can go piss themselves in the dick. Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah. Everything else can blow goats, but Lilo and Stitch is like a bye. I'm sorry, but just the phrase Lilo and Stitch is a bye thing for me. Or big, no, for fuck's sake. Okay, sorry. You sure did change your tune rather fast. I'm sorry if I seem suspicious to you. I'm not trying to be. It's just my personality can change at a moment's notice. Dean, I'm not trying to sound rude. I'm just asking a serious question. Is Dave normally this suspicious of when people's mood change? No, I'm not trying to ask rudely. I'm just... Genuine question for you, Dean. Is Dave normally like this when people's moods change? Like, does he go into that, like, suspicious... I'm not trying to be rude, not trying to hate, just genuinely asking. Not quite what I asked, but I'll take that answer. Not quite what I asked, but I think Dave is just confused about. Again, I'm not trying to sound, but it's okay, he's learning. Okay. I'll take it. Okay. Anyway, but he likes old Disney, doesn't like new Disney, but okay, yeah. that's kind of my, okay, that's kind of my same opinion. Like, and truth be told, I will admit, some Disney content lately has been good. But I feel like the good stuff has been few and far between. Like, for every Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, there's whatever Marvel movie has come out this minute. Except Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine was actually really good. And if you disagree, no worries, but I personally loved Deadpool and Wolverine. Anyway, but for every Deadpool and Wolverine, there's... I don't know. You get what I'm saying. But anyway, yeah. I guess what I was trying to say, I don't support the Disney corporate higher-ups, but I do like to support some of the content when I can. Even if I don't want to support the company, I like to support the content when it's good. I'm sure my philosophy there makes perfect sense. I'm sure my philosophy there makes sense. I'm sure it makes sense. I don't disagree with you, although my philosophy is different. That's fair. But yeah, that's fair. I'm talking to you, Dean. That's completely fair. Just, that's fair. Like, you know, different people think differently. That's just fair. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I guess what I was originally saying, for lack of better phrasing, yeah. Oh, management can blow me and the enabling employees can... Pretty much. If you want me to add a layer to that, management can blow me, the enabling employees can tickle my balls, but the actually good employees and the talented filmmakers are off the hook. Because again, the actually good employees are just forced by their bosses to do the annoying stuff, and the talented filmmakers have just been roped into it or thought it was worth the investment. I think that says it best. As I say. So as long as they quit en masse and work for a company that doesn't produce corporate garbage based on hood classics, yeah. 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 You know what? I'll save the long-winded version of this discussion. Excuse me. Alright, what does it say? Hang on. It's not just bad for the consumer, it's bad for the employee. Imagine the shit they deal with. And okay, they get paid for it, but is it not better, in the words of Kylo Ren, to let the past die? That is completely appropriate. Oh my god. Yeah, that's actually very appropriate. Killed Hans, yeah. that's appropriate. That's really appropriate. In fact, I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna save that for future reference. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, we'll save the long-winded version of this for another time, but I guess we did learn. I guess we learned to complete, Okay, let me guess this is good. Sadly, yeah, because it is 12:26 a.m. EST. Change in posture. Anyway, it is 12:26 Anyway, it is 12:26 a.m. EST, which for you would be 1:26 a.m. Okay. Happy Friday. Yeah. Okay, what does it say? I learned that Wonder After Dark doesn't keep his promises and show up. I never promised that They Live was on April 10th. I never did. I just simply said that I would get to it. But I never said that it was April 10th. I didn't break a promise. I just never gave a date. Okay. When you're next streaming. Okay, sorry. I'm so tired. I was kind of misreading. So let me try that again. When you're next streaming, what do you think the topic will be? I don't know, honestly, because the last few I've had to. When you are next streaming and what? Okay, thank you. Alright. I actually don't know because. Excuse me. Because the last few. It used to be, prior to you and the boys arriving on the show, that typically I get something suggested night of. But lately I haven't. So I've had to either leave it up to an internal vote or just pure luck. Like, just throw a metaphorical dart at the metaphorical wall and pick from there. But as for what I think the topic will be next stream, noted. Again, I read what you said, I just wasn't reading it out loud, but noted. Noted, sorry. You have YouTube viewership now, not just, okay. Anyway, well, I guess I should clarify, they are not my IRL buddies, they don't live close to me. I just felt the need to clarify that, wasn't trying to be rude, it's just they're not exactly my IRLs. They don't live anywhere close to me. I mean, I do know them off the net, but yeah. Not necessarily the tube, but the net. Anyway. But yeah, what I think the topic will be. I've had a few different ones that have been kicking around in my noggin. But alas, you'll have to stay tuned for the community post tomorrow. That's typically where I announce the next topic is on the community post. On the channel page, on the community post tab. So whatever I decide the topic is where you'll see it. So yeah. Okay, I gotta go, because I'm starting to, slur my words, and I'm starting to go into that, Joe fucking Biden dementia. So what did we learn? Because while we didn't really learn anything about the main topic... Oh, when are you streaming? Every night? Oh my god. Lil Bill votes breakfast. Votes Breakfast Club. I vote they live. Oh my god. Okay, 1 second. I don't have $3.99, by the way, so they live will not be for a while, okay? I can't just materialize money out of thin air. Money doesn't grow on trees. Second, I vote. Again, I can't guarantee that it'll be any of those, but okay. Just give me a second. I'm trying to finish the show here. Sorry if I sound a little snappy. I'm just trying to finish the show. Try not to waste too much time. Let me scroll back up, by the way. Because you did say that, so. Let me scroll back up. By the way, I can't guarantee that I'll get to you immediately. Because I'm kind of bad at checking my shit. But I'll get to it when I remember to. That's all I can say. Okay? I'm saying that to you, Dean. Just giving you the heads up. Just letting you know. Scrolling back up to where you said. Jesus Christ, did you all talk at the same time? Ah. Okay. Alright, there we go. Actually, that's how you should end the show. Now, fuck off. Honestly, I've considered it. You better click that request. Okay. It's not... I don't recall doing it. Like, oh, let me rephrase. I don't recall taking it back, like, in the literal sense. I might have done it by accident. Jesus Christ. I love how Dave seems to think that I'm this, like, rude, refusing asshole. I'm not trying to be snappy. It's just something I'm noticing. Again, Dean, I'm not trying to sound rude. Okay, I got Dean, I wrote it down. I can't guarantee that I'll get to it immediately, but I'll get to it when I remember. Okay, thanks. Now, Dean, question for you before we go. Quick question before we go. Is Dave normally this, like, persistent? Again, I'm trying not to sound rude, and I'm not being rude. I'm just asking legit questions, because you two seem to know each other well. Is he normally this, like, persistent? I really hope this is not offending you. I'm not trying to offend. I'm just genuinely asking. I honestly don't... Alright, hang on. I honestly don't know him outside of your stream, but to play devil's advocate, you've been a little dismissive. Okay, hang on. Been a little dismissive of his messages, although his are a little off topic, so I get why. Mine are too, so I don't get. Okay. Going by person. In his case, okay, in your case, it's not that I don't like you at all. In fact, I love your messages because you're the voice of reason. It's just sometimes I'm caught off guard by some of your messages, not in a bad way, but sometimes I'm just caught off guard or I'm overwhelmed trying to deal with everyone else. Freak timing. That for lack of better term. Freak timing. Your messages are off topic, yes, but no ill intent. I don't try to be dismissive. As for Dave, go back and watch the last several. That's the best answer I can give. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be funny. Like, this is all silly jokes for kids. But I'm trying not to be rude. I don't want to be rude. I'm trying to have a laugh. I'm trying to I'm not trying to make fun of my audience in the sense that I hate my audience. I'm trying to make fun of my audience in the sense that we're only human. Now, what did we learn tonight? Because we did run about 5 minutes over time, but what did we learn tonight? Okay, what does it say? I was here before Dean or Lil Bill. You and Gas talk dirty and blame me. Check yourself. Okay. I will check myself. That's all I can say. Just, I will check myself. I'm taking a picture of something Dean said because I think it's really funny. Okay. Anyway. But, okay, well, I guess since we don't know what we learned, I'll tell you what I learned. I guess what we learned... Oh. We all talk a little dirty, and we make Wonder After Dark jokes, and we all talk about dick and balls and stuff, and I don't think it's exclusively a Dave thing. It really isn't. Like, it isn't. But yeah. Alright, sorry, if he feels singled out, I think the best course of action is an apology, and for us to all move on as grown-ups, so we can laugh about, yes. Sorry. Anyway, because we don't seem to know what we learned tonight, I guess what we do learn is that while Disney as a company is evil, some people at the Walt Disney Company are just trying to do a good job. And rather than getting mad at all of Disney's employees, including the actually innocent ones, we should annex the innocent ones and just get mad at the shit ones. I don't know. I guess that's what we learned. Apology accepted. Okay, well, that's good at least. Good takeaway, yeah. Also, I'm tired, overwhelmed. I feel like I've been alive for 96 cajillion years. And most important, and Walt was an enemy of... Yes, we also learned that Walt was an enemy of Israel. By the way, Walt Disney Pictures presents my asshole. But will I elaborate further? Nope. Because I've said enough. But for now, also I did forget to say, we're live almost every night. Almost. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. But always remember, eat your cereal, go to bed, to be continued. God made you special and he loves you very much. If you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Good night, and later, buddies. Thank you. Have a day.